Lightning cracks. A dark figure stands beneath a withered tree. The air thickens with dread. A scream cuts through the silence, and 2 fresh puncture marks glisten on pale skin. In a world cloaked in candlelight and crumbling nobility, a cursed immortal stalks the shadows. But he is not the beast they think he is. Is he a monster, or a man begging for release? Enter the Gothic nightmare of Sir Francis Varney, a vampire who does not sparkle, does not hide and does not rest. Blood will spill, secrets will surface, and when the truth comes out, no one will be the same. This is Varney the Vampire, the original tragedy of the undead.
Before we begin, a quick message. Any digital copy of this content is piracy. Don't do it and stand against it. For new stories, subscribe to the Story Nexus at youtube.com /real Story Nexus. Don't go to fake Nexus. Want to know about upcoming stories? Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Links are in the description.
The tale begins in a gloomy English countryside at the Bannerworth Hall, a once proud estate now crumbling under the weight of debt and secrets. Inside, Flora Bannerworth, a gentle young woman, sleeps alone. Her family, brothers George and Henry and their mother, try to stay strong as the shadow of poverty looms. But that night, something enters Flora's room. A pale figure with burning red eyes and a ghastly expression leans over her. He sinks his fangs into her neck, and Flora lets out a chilling scream. The family bursts in, but the creature vanishes through the window, leaving only 2 bloody punctures on her throat. As they recover from the shock, suspicion, fear, and whispers of the supernatural begin to creep into the house. Is this a dream, or a dark reality they must face? Soon, a mysterious man arrives in the neighborhood, Sir Francis Varney. Dressed elegantly, he speaks with charm, but carries an air of danger. And the Bannerworths are about to discover that his connection to them runs deeper than they could ever imagine. Rumors swirl. The villagers speak of blood-sucking demons, and old legends resurface. Flora lies weak, barely recovering. The local doctor is baffled. Her wounds seem unnatural. Sir Francis Varney begins inserting himself into their lives. Polite, noble, but strangely drawn to Flora. Henry becomes suspicious, but Varney denies all accusations. He claims to be a long-lost noble with rights to the Bannerworth estate. When the family discovers an old portrait in the hallway that bears an eerie resemblance to Varney, dated over a century ago, their dread deepens. Meanwhile, a close family, friend Mr. Marchdale, arrives to help. He brings experience, logic, and a mysterious knowledge of the occult. But even Marchdale cannot deny that something truly unnatural is unfolding. Varney, despite his charm, seems to be everywhere and nowhere. He vanishes in daylight and walks unharmed through fire. The Bannerworths decide to flee the estate, but the vampire follows. As the Bannerworths try to make sense of their cursed situation, Sir Francis Varney begins to reveal layers of tragedy. He is not just a monster, but a man cursed against his will. In a rare moment of vulnerability, he confesses to Marchdale that he hates his existence, longs for death, and cannot stop himself from feeding on the living. His memories go back centuries to battles, betrayals, and a terrible moment when he was wrongly executed and returned to life as a creature of the night. He doesn't remember everything clearly. The curse distorts his mind, leaving gaps in his identity. The Bannerworths move from the estate, hoping to shake Varney off. But his obsession, particularly with Flora, only deepens. He begins appearing at their new home, always managing to find them. Meanwhile, Marchdale grows colder, more mysterious. George starts to question Marchdale's loyalty. Could he be working with Varney? Is he more than just an old friend? As suspicion grows and tension builds, the Bannerworths find themselves caught between a vampire and an ally who may be hiding dark secrets of his own. To end the nightmare, the villagers rally together and storm Bannerworth Hall, now abandoned. They believe the vampire still hides there. Carrying torches and crosses, they set the mansion ablaze, thinking fire will cleanse the evil. Varney watches from afar, emotionless. The house, the legacy, the lies, everything burns, but he survives. Even as flames engulf the halls where Flora screamed and blood was spilled, Varney escapes unharmed, vanishing into the night. The villagers believe they've won. The Bannerworths feel some relief. But deep down, they know this isn't over. Meanwhile, Varney seeks solace. He turns to alcohol, isolation, and reflection. He loathes himself. He begins writing letters, confessions, of a life misspent, a soul lost. In one of his most haunting soliloquies, he begs for understanding. "Do not curse me, mortal, for I was once a man." Just when the Bannerworths begin to feel safe, Flora vanishes. Flora wakes in a strange house, surrounded by fog and shadows. She is not chained or hurt, but gently watched over by Varney. He calls her his savior, claiming that her compassion gives him strength. She is horrified, but also sees pain in his eyes. This is the side of Varney no one knows. The poet, the philosopher, the eternal prisoner of his own body. Flora tries to escape, but learns that the house is protected by more than locks. Servants and shadows obey Varney without question. Meanwhile, Henry and George seek help from a strange ally, a vampire hunter named Admiral Bell, a retired sailor with a hot temper and a heart of gold. He brings weapons, tales of sea monsters, and firm belief that vampires must be destroyed. With Bell's help, they discover that Varney's new home is not just a prison for Flora, but a museum of horrors, filled with journals, skeletons, and portraits of his past victims. And lovers, they prepare for a final confrontation. But nothing is what it seems. Varney doesn't want to kill Flora. He wants to die, and needs her to forgive him first. Flora's disappearance spreads panic. Henry, George, and Admiral Bell track Varney down to his lair. The mist is thick. Shadows crawl along the edges of the countryside. The family is determined to bring Flora back, alive and untouched. Varney, sensing their approach, doesn't run. He waits. The confrontation erupts in a fog-covered glade. Henry challenges Varney to a duel, Victorian style, with pistols at dawn. Varney accepts almost eagerly. Perhaps this is the end he's longed for. They meet. The fog is heavy. Guns are raised. 2 shots ring out. Varney is hit, but he does not fall. He staggers, touches the blood, and then something strange happens. He heals. The men are stunned. He throws his pistol away. "I cannot die this way. Do you not see? The earth spits me back." But rather than retaliate, Varney collapses to his knees. He begs Flora's forgiveness. He never wanted to harm her, only to feel something human again through her light. For the first time, the family hesitates. Could this creature, this cursed immortal, truly feel remorse?
Enjoying the story? Make sure to subscribe to the Story Nexus and hit the bell icon so you never miss an adventure.
After the duel, the story shifts. Varney tells Flora the full truth, his origin story, the secret he's kept hidden beneath centuries of blood and madness. He was once Sir Francis Varney, a soldier, nobleman and loyalist during the English Civil War. Betrayed by those he trusted, he was wrongly accused of treason and sentenced to death. He was hanged, only to awaken days later, buried alive, gasping in his coffin. A mysterious scroll hidden with him revealed a curse of vampirism, passed through blood, binding the victim to eternal hunger and life without rest. He fed, he survived, he hated himself. As decades passed, he lost family, friends, and even his own children, who aged while he remained untouched by time. He wandered across Europe, seeking a cure, finding only fear and fire. And then he found the Bannerworths. Flora looked like his dead daughter. Her presence awakened memories and longing, not lust, love, grief, redemption. Flora, torn between fear and pity, sees the man behind the monster. She agrees to help him, but asks him to leave her family alone forever. He promises one last act of mercy. He writes a will, giving the Bannerworths back their ancestral home and fortune. The final stretch of Varney's tale is one of despair. After releasing Flora and vanishing from her life, he travels across the continent again, seeking death. He walks through battlefields, enters burning buildings, challenges murderers, but nothing can end him. He wanders through Italy, France, and Hungary, leaving behind stories of a ghostly noble who never ages and drinks blood only when starving. To many, he becomes a legend, a boogeyman, a warning, but for Varney, it is a sentence. Worse than hell, he tries to drown. He drinks poison. He buries himself underground. Every time, he wakes again. Years pass. He hears whispers that the Bannerworths have recovered, that Flora has married and found peace. He smiles, a rare human smile, and leaves behind everything. Last time, he climbs the slopes of Mount Vesuvius, the volcano looming over Naples. Below, the world moves on. Above, he stands at the edge of the crater. Let this fire burn me where man's fire failed. He leaps. The flames of Mount Vesuvius erupt into the night sky, swallowing Sir Francis Varney in fire and molten earth. There are no screams, no last words, only silence and smoke. At last, it seems, the vampire has found peace. News of his death spreads, slowly, carried in whispers and rumors. In Naples, a stranger's coat is found, charred, with a letter inside, a will, leaving behind estates, jewels, and gold. The handwriting is unmistakable. It is Varney's. Back in England, Flora receives a letter. It was written before his final journey. In it, Varney thanks her for seeing his pain, for not calling him a monster, and for giving him a glimpse of what it felt like to be human again. In your eyes I found not judgment, but hope. and in that moment, I felt as if I could finally sleep. The Bannerworths, no longer haunted or impoverished, returned to their estate. The villagers who once lit torches in fear now speak of Varney with mystery and even pity. Was he truly evil, or just cursed? Admiral Bell sails off, his job done, but his heart softened by the strange tragedy he witnessed. Time passes. Flora grows older. The family changes. Yet the memory of those nights, of red eyes in the dark and whispered voices in the hall, never quite fades. Years later, a visitor comes to Bannerworth Hall, now restored and vibrant. He is a writer curious about the stories told by the locals. Flora, now elderly and wise, sits with him by the fire and tells her tale. He wasn't what they said he was. He was more. The writer scribbles notes, listening intently. "Do you think vampires are real?" he asks. Flora smiles softly. "Real enough to haunt you. Real enough to break your heart." As he departs, she walks to the old hallway, where the portrait of Varney once hung. Now gone, the wall bears only dust, but Flora sees his face still. Not with fear, but with sorrow. Varney is dead. Or perhaps he only sleeps, because some stories, like some creatures, never truly die.
And that's the end of today's story. But don't go anywhere, because many more thrilling tales are coming your way. At the Story Nexus, we bring you the most exciting, mysterious, and unforgettable stories from around the world. If you love adventures, mysteries, and timeless legends, then hit that subscribe button now. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Join our growing community of story lovers. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What story should we tell next? Want updates on upcoming stories? Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Links are in the description. Thank you for watching, and see you soon for another amazing adventure, only on the Story Nexus.